Greetings, blessings, salutations once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And yes, thank you to all of you who have already dropped in, said hi. I am the Dow. You tell me 6079 Smith W. Our poll. I'm hoping, and I thought I'd already seen Talcott Express, but blessings to all those who've found their way to join once again today, living the Talcottian adventure with the hopes to share some blessings and joy. Truly, that's all I want to offer. Blessings and joy, but blessings are in the eye of the beholder, of course. And if anything, we'll share some time and some perspectives on the ideas of sacrifice and exchange, right? There's universal laws to this realm we exist within, that we occupy, right? Science has shown a lot of explanations for the forces that bring forth matter and nature. So we have, myself, I just have general understandings, but, it's commonplace. Our sciences understand the theories of energy exchange, thermodynamics, biology, molecular structures, and all of this stuff. There's universal laws, forces that govern climate and growth and decay and life. There's universal forces that we coexist within. And then beyond that, there's also the realm of the mind. And from everything I can find so far, what is true is typically true on many different perspectives. And so what can apply in the physical realm also has some application in the ideas of thought, in the realm of consciousness and explanations. So the laws of exchange. I've said it many times, and the evidence is actually quite obvious and quite clear. Man's laws defy God's laws. God's laws bring forth creation, bring forth innovation and change. Man's laws have been focused on the past, right? Living from the past, moving forward, dragging the past forward, right? Our entire judicial system, the court systems, primarily built off of precedent. Okay, so that means, well, it's steps. There have been many steps, good and bad. I won't say good and bad, in healthy and unhealthy directions as far as the growth of families and morality. I realize now I'm speaking kind of conceptually off on the fringes here. Let me bring it back into more clarity. Okay, there's rules that govern everything that we do, and there's laws of exchange. Man's laws has corrupted these laws. The law, and in the Bible, and here's where my weakness shows, the actual specificity to tell you, go to this verse and chapter. The Bible talks about that there is a return on what is given, right? So it's given out, it will be received. These are the laws of exchange. Now, man, in its corruption and its, outsmarting everybody, we've turned that law of exchange, which is generosity, reciprocated. That's what nature is, in my mind, my experience. what man has done with the laws of exchange is this give and take crap, right? It's like the industries and the corporations are all about how much can they take? How much can we take? How many resources can we take for the least amount of exchange? You know, how much how much labor can we get out of these fools, for the cheapest wage? What's the least exchange we can get away with? That's the corporate mindset, and it's all bullshit. And then workers go in, well, I've got this job, and once they get the job, first they're kind of begging the corporation, please see me as worthy. Please find a place for me to dedicate my time and energy, whether that's fucking McDonald's or if it's, holding a sign for construction work or whatever it is. We've got a society where the workers go in and beg this corporation, please find me worthy. And then the worker gets in there, gets hired, gets selected, goes into the job, and I've got this job and they owe me. And the employer's like fighting against the boss, no gratitude, just kind of there for a paycheck. And then going through the motions, not really giving a damn. And you see a lot of employees in our society going through the motions, not giving a damn, customer service experts and all this nonsense. We wouldn't need all these customer service trainings, which, by the way, I used to do that. We need all this customer service training and marketing and all of this stuff if people were just honest, honest about what they were doing, honest about what was available, honest about their intentions. If this world was more honest, we would not have such corruption in our governments or in our corporations. Today's 9/11. 22 years ago, there was that big mystery where a lot of lives were sacrificed. It seemed to have some purposeful intentions and perhaps a lot more people involved than, there's a lot of mysteries in this world. And I think 22 years ago from this day, many people started to ask questions, started to wake up a little bit more to the world around them and finding out, well, if 2 + 2 = 9 here, what? Yeah, so there's a lot of mysteries, and today I've spent some time getting reminded there has been some great people, I don't know them, who've dedicated their time and energy investigating, finding news clips, putting pieces together, following the money, so to say. But, so we got that mystery from 22 years ago. And the sacrifices of that led to the citizens sacrificing more of their freedom in the name of safety, right? Instituted the Patriot Act and all of this massive surveillance upon the citizens, taking those baby steps, right? Taking those little baby steps towards, greater centralized control, surveillance and technology, and in everyone's body, being tracked and monitored, making sure the right transactions are made between one another. That seems to be some of the plans that, it's public knowledge. I mean, it's available to read and to see. So, brothers and sisters, There's been a lot of sacrifices made from people from the past, good ways and bad. There's been a lot of people sacrificed in the name of labor, in the name of patriotism, nationalism, in the name of profits. There's been a lot of people sacrificed. And speaking of mysteries, 22 years ago in New York, and then we got other mysteries going on right now with Lahaina. They're in Hawaii. Different type of mystery, but lots of mysteries coming to light, brothers and sisters. As I started really devoting myself to my path of knowledge, trying to learn what I could about this world, it dawned on to me. No wonder they loan out money so freely. Because, see, when people are obligated by a contract or a debt, they'll literally work themselves to death. And every hour that a man and a woman is spent working towards the ends of another, guess what they're doing? They're sacrificing their own personal growth, personal development. They're sacrificing their own time with their families. Talking about these damn jobs everyone's so committed to defending. People place jobs above the welfare of their sanity, above the, honestly, above the care and the intention of their family. And here's a man, I'm speaking from guilt. I did that willingly, by choice. I bought into the 40-hour a week. The wage slavery was a good, secure way, bringing stability for my family. Having a good, secure job, it did allow me not to have to worry about looking for work, and I didn't have to uproot the family and move away. So there were blessings to the choices I made, and there's blessings to the structures that has brought us to here, right? Some of our parents, grandparents, it's less common these days, but these men and women would spend a lifetime, an adult lifetime, dedicated to an employer, doing the same job, or at least in the field of jobs, for pretty much their whole life. And that was looked at as a good thing, right? 30 years at a company, get a little retirement bonus, a gift of a watch or something, and you have a pension. You got some security for the rest of your time to live out. Those days that's a pretty rare story these days. And maybe it's one of those damn fairy tales that they taught us as kids. Maybe that was never that way. I don't know. I just know what's going on today, brothers and sisters. I'm willing to sacrifice my reputation, my livelihood. I'm willing to sacrifice it all for a better world. Because I honestly believe, brothers and sisters, we do, mankind, womankind, the true nature of who we are, it's been hidden by choice. People have been fighting for their beliefs, fighting for paychecks. People have been fighting, I believe, for too long. And I made the choice within myself. And I used to be proud of this. This was my life. As a teenager, I had a big mouth, and I'd always kind of confront someone if I saw them picking on someone else. So, big mouth confronting bullies, you're going to have to learn to fight. So, I learned how to fight. And then I went in the military. They taught me some different methods of fighting, and and I learned how to obey. And then, like I've told my story before, then I progressed into the Postal Service and I learned not so much how to fight, but learned how to serve with my occupation. I truly convinced myself that our jobs, the workforce at the Postal Service, that we were serving the nation, allowing their private correspondence to be transmitted universally, regardless of location, for the same price. I used to be proud of all that. So I learned how to serve. And then through my union, I was blessed. I was really, truly blessed to meet and to learn from some very inspiring people. And through the union, I developed myself as a man into a better version of me. And I learned how to fight without violence. I learned how to fight as an advocate, serving others, my coworkers, and the safety of the environment. I learned how to fight and serve with my words, knowing the rules, knowing the power of knowing the power of rules. The ability and methods to have them enforced is a very useful knowledge for anyone, brothers and sisters. It's important for us all to know the rules of where we are. Okay. What does that mean? Who determines the rules? Right? That's what I decided for myself. I abide by laws. I abide, man's laws. I abide by speed limits and all that stuff. But I do so by choice. It's not an obedience. Okay? When we live our lives in obedience, sacrificing our free will to another, that's what we're doing when we choose to obey. We are sacrificing our free will to another. And there are so many people just living their lives of obedience, and it's not even anyone specific. They're living lives of obedience to rules written by people they've never even met, living by traditions that were taught to them without explanation or meaning, but just this is the way that it's been. Do what we do. Humanity, especially Americans, have been taught not to think for themselves. Might sound offensive, but our society would not be the way it is if that was not true. If men and women truly thought for themselves, why would we have such a why is it so difficult and challenging to speak with those in charge? I mean, that's what I've been trying to do for several years. I've tried many different ways trying to speak to people in charge, various levels, various professions, and I suppose in my own polite way, I was being kind of a Karen, I guess. Where's the manager? I'm just trying to find people that make sense, that can understand how to make decisions. And supposedly, this is what I used to think. I used to think the people in power, those with wealth, those with authority, I used to think they had a power I did not. They had the ability to make choices that I wasn't comfortable. I didn't grow comfortable making choices. I was a very indecisive. I had a lot of insecurities. And I think that's pretty common. There's a lot of explanations being shared about psychology, patterns of human behavior. We're living at a wonderful time. Speaking of, welcome, Illumitami. Good to see you, brother. How do we stand today? Good.
Did you say we're living in a wonderful time and then say speaking of and bring me in?
Yep.
Wow, awesome. So yeah, Jack, I want to help. Like, whenever you think I'm creating disagreements, I'm trying to narrow down things that you want to burn off before you get this chance to talk to higher up people. That's why you want to appreciate that you can't just approach them at your whim, because you might just fly in guns blazing and fuck it up. But like, you know how whenever I get in a shape debate with the flat earthers and they try and tell me that I think I'm on a globe because a teacher or an institution told me, and we all know that's not why. So a lot of us see the logic and reason for certain rules. I agree there's rules that don't need to be, that are just to siphon fines and money from people. But there's a lot of rules that I think are obvious in their logic. And it's not like we're just obeying them because we were told to.
Some of them apply to logic. Here's the downside to logic. Sorry, I allowed my mind to go to the comment. I was catching up to what you were saying, I
It's all
think.
right. I just want to make sure my volume didn't cut out.
I turned you up a bit after you showed up. You were pretty soft. So
I get turned down a lot.
I'm sure. I know. I know. Hey, the downside to logic, right? Logic is a fabulous function. It is the verbal math. But just like in math, the quality of math is going to be determined by the variables and the what variables are calculated and the weight given of different variables. So our logic, the logic in this society is it's absent.
Well, and what, like I've pointed this out, I might have talked to you about this. Logic isn't just that flat term either. Like there's a drug addict's logic, there's a military general's logic.
Hey,
It's
exactly.
like the logic is out of
That's
your goal or intention.
hey, okay, good point. I've heard you offer that before, and that is exactly what I was describing. Is that logic is going to be based upon what you said, the perspective, and the perspective is going to be largely based on their desire, the intentions. So it's all in
Right.
context. You're right.
And
Hey,
so you can see that like with traffic court, a lot of those jobs are, or a lot of those rules are obviously just to get a fine when they don't really damage anyone. Like, hey, that blinker wasn't on for X amount of feet before your turn or whatever.
right. Well, that comes down to the blind obedience. Here, let me get this. Can get you paperwork for, I'm assuming, appointment to get in White House press room with Andrew. I don't know Andrew. Mentioned before, never responded. 1 foot in back door to ask questions. Dude, that sounds amazing. I don't. That is exactly what I would want if I was in the area.
And
I don't
Smith,
have
you're gonna
any
have to
immediate.
post those like in comments on one of my videos or something. I'm not gonna be able to catch those out of the chat. He's putting video links or something.
Wait a minute. You know what? If Norm Macdonald was pretending to be Wayne Dyer, that'd be. I'm going to take that as a thank you.
I'm not sure who Wayne Dyer is.
Oh, dude, I'm a big fan of Wayne Dyer. He's a spiritual guy, along the lines of Ram Dass and I don't know others in that time.
Every time I turn around, there's another guru or spiritual guide in these streets.
Well, Tommy, there's a ton of them. That's the thing. That's what I realized. Jesus and the Buddha, they were not that rare. They were, but they were not. I mean, those were the special ones for their special purpose, but there's a lot of ascended beings, spiritual gurus, people that truly understand the divine and unconditional love.
Do you mean people with opinions that give their advice.
Not
'Cause
so
there
much
are a lot of them.
advice as their perspectives on that which is, their explanations of facts and their experiences.
I prescribe though to the idea that Jesus was like the Uber that he was God incarnate. I wouldn't knock him down to these YouTube gurus. I would not
Well,
boost these YouTube gurus up to him either.
well, there was a very special purpose, meaning, and intention through the life and the story that continued of Jesus the Christ. I won't put that off as any insignificance, but if all is God, which it is, the only separation from God and you, God and me, is our thoughts, our imagined perceptions, what we believe.
No, I think there's a bigger separation than that. Like, as far as in the Christian theism, like, you cannot present sin in the presence of God. That's why he sent Jesus to make that sacrifice. But everybody is always focused on the cleansing by the blood when there was actually also an alternate reason. And that's when you have YouTubers like, oh, what's the name of that guy that was feuding with CBO? Um, uh, I
The
forget his name.
sanity,
Yeah,
insanity.
Sanity Machine. Yeah, he's always asking, "Oh, why does God kill the kids? Why does he give them? Why does hurricanes? Why does he give kids diseases?" Well, he came into his creation and took one of the most torturous executions that man carries out. So him too. Like it's like when cops have to get pepper sprayed before they're allowed to pepper spray people. So yeah, God knows what we're going through. He went through that too.
Well, as Alan Watts and many others have described, it is only God playing all parts.
Can you hear that? Hold on, I gotta turn my.
Hey, greetings, Austin Murphy, metaphysician. Don't judge me. HMFIC, blessings to all of you.
Did we say it at Jinx? We jinxed
What?
it. Did we say it at the same time?
No. Hey, Tommy, sacrifice and exchange. I was talking about the laws of energy and how exchange has been manipulated into this give and take. But the other idea of sacrifice has been distorted as well. We each sacrifice in order to understand, in order to learn. There's our very first sacrifice. Learning and understanding requires time and attention. So we got to choose to give up our time and attention for the purpose of whatever it is we want to accomplish.
Yeah, and in the energy sciences, this is just the laws of the universe. You don't even have to think of it as a sacrifice as much as a trade. Like you must trade something. Like even when you uh, get up out of your seat, you're expending calories to get up and move, and then you have to move to obtain more calories. So, but there's always a loss. Like you're never gonna perpetual motion even that out. Like for every 100 train cars of coal goes into the electric plant, you get 30 cars of electricity out of it because it's
Gotcha.
that
There's
inefficient.
there's a what do they call entropy and dissipation of
You know,
energy, and that's actually one of the I listened to a brilliant description not long ago that suggested that that is why human life is has evolved. as a central point of energy consumption for the purposes, you know, these bodies take a lot of energy. I can't explain it clearly, but I thought it was a
Oh,
brilliant explanation to explain
say
why.
it, say it the triggering way, Jack. Even if these people were vegan, every day something dies for us to live. It's
Well,
true.
it is true. And so, with that in mind, we should be mindful about why we choose to live.
Hmm.
Why are we here? What is the meaning of our lives? What is it we're going to leave behind? Because you're right. Every day for our existence, we are consuming. By our consumption, that means we are leaving behind a mark on the world. So, what mark are we going to leave behind? What is what's history going to show for us?
Um, it doesn't really matter because if nobody cares about it, it doesn't get maintained. Like the only reason the Roman Colosseum is still standing is because we gave enough of a crap to keep maintaining it, or it would have been swallowed up by the desert by now from sand
Totally,
and wind.
totally changed the topic and deflected from the conversation.
No, no, I was just answering the question. This is what conversation does. You can realign
Yeah,
it.
you're right. You're right. I just have the intentions that hopefully, every day I come on here, I try to be taken seriously to discuss the things I want to discuss because I know for a fact that if people if people are
Well,
living like I used to and they could feel like I do, I know how.
no, you can't. You can't make people. You got to let
I'm
people
not
do what they're
making
doing.
anyone. I'm
Right.
just trying to have the opportunity to talk about.
And I'm taking you serious, Jack. That's just where it went.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Um, so maybe the mark is more lucrative if you like discover something like if you want to feel like you benefited mankind, discover a cure or something that keeps being recreated rather than think of like a structure or a something to just leave sitting there to prove you were here.
Well, you know, I like where you went with that, Tommy. I spent a lot of time trying to come up with things to invent, ideas to try and, you know, get rich. That's why I was trying to think of things. But when I changed my mindset and I decided I want to have a bigger impact, a better influence, a greater impression rather than just an imprint of my existence. And so I started to think about what could I do to help more people? And honestly, that's when the brain juices started flowing. Guys, if you're feeling trapped in your life, if you're feeling stuck or depressed or maybe anxious about the future, spend some time within yourself with all the knowledge you've learned, all the lessons and all the experiences you've had. Look within yourself and ask yourself, how can I use this to help the world? Because we've all overcome lessons or we've made mistakes or you know we all have skills and talents we can share with each other, share with the world. And if you start believing in yourself that I can help the lives of others, there's your purpose. That's
And
why
I'd
we're
even
here.
say just shoot for your local where you're at. Have you ever seen Biodome when their girlfriends are all like thinking globally? Now you're thinking locally and we're thinking globally. Locally's fine, you know. If everybody was thinking locally, it would wrap up a lot of issues because you're
Amen.
all just like today. I just took my dog for a walk. I took a bag of trash down the building for the maintenance lady, and I went by the food thing. There was these free protein bars, gave them to homeless guys as I passed homeless guys. It was just like an all around walk, you know?
Good for you.
And that was just, and God let me do that to make me feel better from once again being approached by my pedo accusers before I left today, because they don't sleep, they don't stop. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, people are fascinating, and I'm really trying to understand the I'm trying to understand, number one, what I should do, but what the hell is going on in this world? What might God allow? How far is this insanity going to continue before people start really waking up and we start doing shit?
As far as what God will allow, you know how that Job thing went down, right?
Well, hey, this is what I don't get. Um, my life has a lot of similarities, and that includes the ass hats who want to blame me for what they think, what they see.
Yeah. Like ageless, timeless being, I'm mean to people for very much reasons. Maybe ask sometime. And you are on a globe. Sorry, not sorry. And yeah, Cynthia has no place to laugh at anyone. I don't know why she's talking to me like we're cool.
Hey, these Zen vibes, thank you, metaphysician. These Zen vibes, this is what I want to share. I live in the moment. Each day when I go to sleep, I die. Each more
Oh, we could hope.
I die to the world. I die to the past. Each morning I wake up and I really don't even have to practice it too much anymore. It's become a normal mindset. Eyes open, I
Well,
see the sun and it's thank you, God. And it's the day starts.
Jack, each morning when I wake up, I say a little prayer for you. To get up, to get up, to get up, to get up. You remember that song?
Not very well.
I don't think I was singing it right, but I think
Hey,
Wayne Brady sang it one
we
day.
got another guest here. Local hometown guy. Welcome, Smith.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey Smith, look, it's Cynthia the Hut. Cynthia the Hut, you get it? Cynthia the Hut.
Oh
No,
my goodness.
Dude, come on. Come on.
Anyway, welcome, Smith. You got anything special for us for today?
man, I could, but I'm good. Actually, I
You
just
just
jumped
You
up
can't
here to be
unsee
part of
that
it.
Cynthia the Hut, can you?
No, I'm just not. You know what? I'm not doing that. That's not my mission,
You're
man.
not feeling it today.
Yeah.
Hey, no, respect to you, Smith. Respect.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
he really can come out of left field sometimes. Like one day he might be raging. And now today he's just not feeling it.
Tom, that, yeah. I don't know. Hey, the idea of sacrifice and exchange. Are you willing? How many of you might be willing to sacrifice the way you live today in order to receive different, especially if different might be better? Would you be willing to let go of everyone and everything you know?
Already have. People act like it's not my choice to be on this loner narrow path. It's the best thing that was ever chosen for me.
Now, okay, there's one thing to be said about, being comfortable being alone, but are you
No, I've been
comfortable?
separated. I have been separated by the Most High.
Right, but you also seem to push people away as well.
Um, I think people are interacting just how they're supposed to. And I don't think I'll be like this forever. Um, but yeah, it's just the now.
Well, this is what I realized. We go through these phases, but um, within us, I believe we have the choice to choose. I don't know about everybody, but I've been examining myself pretty well, and I choose my choices. But there was a long time I didn't understand how to do that. I was very reactive. Um, sometimes I wouldn't be completely honest, maybe. I'd withhold things, worried about what people might feel or think. But brothers and sisters, I know for a fact, with the number of disagreements I've seen, the number of accusations and insults in these YouTube realms, people are confused, guys. We should not be wasting time arguing with each other. There are greater enemies, the principalities and the rulers in high places, the structures of government and corporations are our enemies, the structures.
Well said.
Well, and today you might have seen me in a very long, quote unquote, fight or disagreement, but it was to show the community we're familiar with, Jack, how they're missing the true truth. Like I was holding them to like the very detail until they got it, and I think some of them did. Like Christos definitely came around. Um, Timmy and Wizard were left stuck in their not truth, which I think they were still getting it. And Paul himself came in, got loud, shut up, and left. So I know I was on fire today. Like he had nothing he could do but stare over at his mommy girlfriend and turn the camera off eventually.
Well, don't assume too much in the conclusions, but respect. It sounds like you do feel good about how it went, and you should. I'm seeing a lot of people. Well, I keep hoping that people are developing. Um, I tuned in not to summon him, but I tuned in to the to that chaos show earlier, and he was showing a
Chaotic
video.
truth.
No, the Unslavia one.
Oh, okay.
They're showing a video of some dude he was perfectly describing well, he labeled it as codependency, but it was like, holy, it's not narcissism I'm seeing, it's codependency. Regardless, I know what the cause is. It's unresolved issues from the past. We got a whole society today, bunch of people in the streets, bunch of people in elected positions. They're out of their fucking minds because they've got unresolved emotional issues that have never been understood. We are living in a very toxic world, and it's up to each of us. It's not up to, we each have the opportunity to purify ourselves. And the best way to purify yourself is to start with your mind.
And
I was reminded. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
I was recently challenged by a thing on this subject where we truly are each on our individual thing. And when we look at each other and see each other in pain or in a struggle, if we feel bad for them, it's like you're judging them. But you have to understand that they're equally on their thing just like you, and they'll eventually get it just like you. And so you do kind of have to just let them go and you're not like evil for not sweating it. Um, Because if you feel too bad for them, you are judging them. You're thinking they're weak. You think they're not as good as you were to go through it.
Respectfully, Tommy, I'm going to disagree with that. I'm just saying that, like, from an empathetic perspective, I'm trying to empathize with the person and put myself in their shoes. And
I
show
agree. I'm saying it's challenging for me to think this way, but I see it. Like I get the now I'm not gonna let somebody dangle from the edge of a cliff, you know? But it's like these things that we deal with beyond just food, shelter, and needs, you know, like the external, the extra that we do need to turn inward and figure out. That is like only we as us can do it. Like only the individual can really get themselves out of that.
Here, yes. Let me jump in here. I understand what you're saying, Tommy, but I kind of agree. I lean towards the empathy, and maybe I'm foolish, but I continue to try, circle back
And
sometimes and keep trying. But
so when I say that
let
to
me-
feel too much empathy for someone is like judging them,
it
can you
can be
see
that.
how there's an opposite end of that pendulum swing where maybe you're like being
Yes.
some kind of pretentious
Yes.
a-hole to like be overly empathetic toward them?
Well, here, yes, there is people who do that. They judge others with problems and then they offer this sympathy, and inside they're gloating because they feel superior. When
Right,
in
yeah.
reality, if you honor someone, even though they're facing challenges, some encouragement, some inspiration, the
Yeah.
faith that they can push through it, just like you could push through it, that's what we should be offering each other.
Yeah, like a support network. I agree.
Amen. And hey, I was reminded, I tried to look it up to see who this came from, but I don't know. So the oldest source was Lao Tzu.
Yeah,
Watch,
yeah, the Art of War
watch
guy.
your, yeah, the art of war. But it's just philosophies on that which is. Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words. They become actions. Watch your actions. They become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So our destiny literally can be changed, altered, redirected by a change in our vocabulary, in changing the words we use to describe ourselves, to describe the future, to describe the past. When we change our words, when we sacrifice our old ways of seeing things, we can receive different perspectives. Particularly, where I'm going with this observation is any who are dealing with painful thoughts. Okay? Sacrifice the repetition of allowing yourself to feel the pain. Give it up. Fuck, it was fun to feel the pain for a number of years, but let it go. Right? We don't have to carry around this suffering. And that's what this dysfunctional society will do. It'll teach us to judge ourselves with this sympathy and, poor helpless thing, and then our guilt and our shame. We're insecure. Through our insecurities, we try controlling others, and we come across as real arrogant. I think you guys may know a couple people like this.
And that's kind of getting back on the you really should just let them go through it rather than bestow on to them too much. I mean, or I'd offer a word, lend the advice that you can, but yeah, then you got to let them burn through it. Have you ever had that guy that you helped him out when he was heartbroken over a girl, but then like for weeks he just still will like lean into the heartbreak and it's like, dude, even I'm over it, you know?
Okay.
Might have not been the best example, but I've seen it. I've had a friend like that.
Well, here, let's run with that heartache. There is a lot of people that will carry that heartache, and it'll be a real visible wound. I'm guilty of that. I used to do that. I felt wounded at the collapse of my marriage, right? The fact that, well, our son wasn't even 3 and she went and found a different mate. So I was pretty upset about that and carried my wounds for a long time. And people around me, there was people around me who literally fed my fucking anger. They're like, oh, you should keep track of everything she says. You should keep track of everything she does. Oh, you should do this. You should do that. Bunch of little hens gossiping in my ear, feeding my fucking hate and discontent. It's like,
Do it.
in hindsight, it's like, wow.
That was a Star Wars meme. That's exactly what you're describing, like the Sith Lord. It's going, do it.
That's what this society has come to. It really has. It's the same crap from the Roman ages. Bread and circuses. People have been convinced they're free in an open air insane asylum where the patients are untreated. The untreated patients in the insane asylum are enforcing and policing the borders. It's like, what? Hey, welcome, Joe. There's another man who understands the insanity. Welcome,
Actually,
brother.
you guys are doing very well. I like to just keep my mouth shut. I just wanted to be up here and hear this shit. You guys are both of you cats are spot on.
Like,
This
I just
shit,
want my likeness to be sitting beside this whatever we're doing.
tell me that shit you said earlier about you got to give up some energy for energy shit, whatever that shit was on, and you
Oh, yeah.
just and the shit that you just said about perhaps in your empathy for someone as a bit of arrogance. That was dope.
Yeah. And I don't want to say it like you're burning the energy. Energy can't be destroyed. It just changes form. Like that 70 coal cars that don't become electricity, they become heat. And that
Disappear
heat
in
goes
the form
somewhere.
of
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, this is a common pattern. I'm not hurt. I know this is some of y'all be judging people who beat situations that would have broken you to pieces.
That was dope. Who said that? Don't judge me.
Don't judge.
Don't
That's
judge me talking about
that was dope.
This,
All right. That's dope.
that's literally what I was trying to get across to Margot and some of the other people that were just came out of the woodwork to fucking kick me while I was down. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? What is this for? I still don't know. They still have not offered any admission of.
Hey Jack, you
Ooh.
gotta just keep in mind that if you're trying to make friends, it's always a good way to, or easy, not a good way, but an easy way to make friends is to jump on board with some groupthink shit. So that's an easy, quick way to gain popularity. Don't be too hard on motherfuckers.
Oh, dude.
So
That's been happening publicly against me too.
Go
People
along,
will
get
go
along. I
to
never do
say,
that.
Yeah, that's what
when
I'm
we're
saying. A lot of
talking
people
about
are criticizing you just to look cool to other people who are criticizing you.
Guess what I did? I met Jack the first time. I was like, I don't know this guy, but I just went out there and fucking defended him like he was my dad.
Very good.
Because that's what I do.
He's worthy of that shit, right?
He's a good
worthy.
dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So when we're talking about leaving people to their struggles, and then don't judge me as like, yeah, you're judging people for stuff that would have broke you. Do we not agree as God faithers that you're only gonna get what you can handle?
I'd be thinking that. Yeah.
So all
Hey,
the more reason to leave them to it easier.
Okay,
They'll be
Tom.
okay. Yeah.
Hey, that
Once
is
again, we
true.
don't leave people bleeding in car accidents. We don't leave people dangling from bridges. But as far as this day-to-day shit, like, yeah,
Tom.
man, you'll be all right. You can handle it.
Well, that's one way to deal with it. But in my my outside observation, it sounds kind of callous. It sounds like it's a defensive mechanism to push away so you
I'm
don't
with Tommy.
care.
It's a sign of IQ. It could be. We don't know which it is,
I
but it
know.
could certainly be a sign of IQ and growth.
Somewhat, but the other patterns cause me to think that it's a defensive
I
mechanism.
understand. You've seen
Well,
more. I got you. I got you. I understand.
we would also need a good situation using as example, because I'm not saying like, oh, you got problems, I'm just gonna shut you out. But
I
it's
thought we were talking
like,
about in general. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were talking about a particular incident. So I thought we were talking about people
no,
in
we're
general.
not. It's in general. Like, I don't
Okay.
know how Jack's reading the like push away, but it's like I could still sit right beside you and just leave you to it. I'm not abandoning someone.
Those
Like, I've been on some Greyhound trips, and you will definitely leave people near you to their stuff. You don't want to get in on that Greyhound stuff.
Yeah, but those are Greyhound trips, Tommy. So like, I don't really know you like in real life, but you're my boy, man. That's all good. You don't have to accept me back, but I like you. Whether you got
Oh, and I've stopped a fight on a
whether
Greyhound
you want
bus
to push
just
me away or
because.
not, man, I'm there for you. And I think there needs to be more of that.
Hey, let me get on this comment. Thank you, Randolph James, creator. The end is near. I think I agree with this comment, by the way. The end is near. I think folks should be getting right with the Almighty, Holy Spirit, the Christ within. Time only exists in the world. Come to the
right.
eternal salvation.
It's dope. I agree.
Good point.
Well, that is the theory of the water baptism and the baptism of fire, right?
Yes.
Is to cleanse us from our past, from the past, when we used to make excuses and allow ourselves to follow temptation or, entertain lust and envy,
Yeah,
or
used to.
all of this.
Used to.
Hey, once we recognize the patterns, we can sacrifice the old ways, because I'm telling you, brothers and
Uh,
sisters,
that last one is
turning
a hard one, right, bro? That last one is a hard one. Right?
what helped me? What helped me is recognizing the God in the beauty, right? A
Okay.
woman, and the God in the beauty is the good. So God, by its magnificence, created this
Yeah.
just enticing
How does that help you
figure
with my
of a
lust?
woman. Well,
Yeah.
it's God's creation, and give it up to the sister, to the woman in the body, for taking care of it, for nurturing it, for caring for it as she has, if it's in a healthy way, so we could
Have you?
admire.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. I do understand where you're coming from. Now, the way I overcome it is, you get a chick, single chick. I'm sure I'm fornicating. We're not married and all of that shit, but I got no issues left in that lusting after this one single chick, bro.
Nothing
Admit it.
beats a girl that doesn't know she's hot. Like, that's
Yes.
significant. When a girl has no
Yeah.
idea she's hot, that is a
Uh,
much better girl.
yes. You can grow with that girl. It's beautiful.
Hey, in my defense, so I'm not painting this improperly, it's been pretty easy for me to avoid the lustful thoughts and
Right.
behavior,
It's not
because
very.
I've had no opportunities, man. I don't even know the last time I no, I do know the last time I flirted with a woman. It was several years ago.
Wow. I'll give you out too if you willing and got the balls to do it. It works 100% of the time. I tell everybody the same advice. Be honest, meaning when you go out a lot, go to these fucking bars and what have you, and because every chick in the bar wants to fuck. I'm sorry if motherfucker don't believe that. And when you talk to every chick, and you must talk to every chick, it's not a difficult thing. Just you tell them any interest flies. You tell them I'm not interested in a relationship. I'm just trying to bang some one night stand. If that's you, you might want a relationship. But it won't change it. You can be honest if that's what you want, and do the numbers thing. Make sure you holler at 10 chicks. 3 or 4 are gonna get back with you. It's not fucking rocket science and nothing like that. Do the numbers. Be honest. It works every time.
Way to bring a godly message, Joe.
Thank you.
And never neglect going for what's into
Jack.
you rather than pursuing what doesn't want you.
Say that again.
Yes.
Read what's feeling you rather than pursue what's not interested. You know?
Agreed. As soon as why would I have a bitch on my why would I have a shorty on my mind? Well, why do I have time for a shorty that don't have me at the front of her mind? That's a line of one of them raps on.
You know?
Hey,
I don't have
Rap
got me.
music's trash.
I don't have time for a shorty who ain't got me on the front of her mind. Right.
hey, let me jump in here. The two of these comments, Bert. No, if I actually think I've got a little game, so you would know flirtatious Jack, and that was not flirtatious Jack. And I trust this too. Not everyone is smooth as Joe in the bars. But what Joe's saying, I had to do that. I had to push within myself to find the courage to build the numbers, right?
Yes.
To recognize that just by, well, and to recognize that obvious truth too. Many of the women there are there for similar reasons, you know?
I don't know if you can dance, but I literally dance with every chick in the joint. And you will again, fucking Smith gonna jump me for this, but you don't go home empty handed. It's not really even a thing, bro.
No, I get it. It's funny.
Me, I never learned to dance my body. So I still hold hope that, you know, whoever comes into my life, maybe she'll give me an inspiration.
I just want to throw this out there, dude. Kem Before the Storm is a solid dude. He'd be a great panel contributor.
Oh, he has before. I've seen him.
He has
before.
his moments.
Flamethrowers everywhere he goes.
There's only two people in these streets that have ever dabbled in telling me they're coming to my address. He's definitely
Damn, Kim. Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Enjoy the prison you've built. That nigga on some
Well,
introspective shit. Damn.
It's a
I
long time
honestly
coming, though. He's right.
I see that as well. You know, it's the egoic insecurity. And when I say ego, I think someone called me out on this the other day. I do use that word a lot. When I'm talking about it, it's the shadows from the ego. It's the stuff that people are blind to. It's the cruelness, the selfishness.
I hear what you're saying. It's not just arrogance. It can be a bunch of other things. Yeah.
Well,
But the significance to his situation is just days ago, he was telling me he wanted me to mediate to help him get back like more civil with the community. And then like within a day of that, he'd shut me out again. And now it's like everything is falling down around him.
Mm.
And I'm not saying I'm any special person in that. I'm just saying I watched that. It's like, okay, I'll help you, Paul. And then he flipped out again on everybody. And now nobody's really got time for it.
Because that's what happened. I ain't ran around in these streets a lot. I wasn't aware anything could change with Paul, but I do see that certain conversations and shit he can't engage in because you know where he goes and he is gonna
The loop.
hey
loop
Joe,
shit's gonna occur.
I was thinking about that the other day. It kind of evolved while you were off doing your thing. There was lines drawn in the sand, so to say, between Paul and I, and I'm blocked from his chat over there.
Same
And
here.
That means he wants you on panel, right? Over there.
I can't
He
even get
usually-
on a panel. It says I'm blocked from
You're
freaking-
totally blocked.
Yep.
he says he's been cleaning house, and
Interesting.
so what he's tightening his little
Circle.
group, you know, so
That's
he's
scary to me.
well, it's
Yeah.
it's a sign of insecurity. It's not a sign of confidence to go around fucking engaging disagreements and insults at everyone.
Yeah.
That's not a sign of confidence. That's a sign of
Is that how you would
emotional
characterize
insecurity.
what he do, whether he does or not? I would agree that. Oh my God,
Well, there's
he
also a
falls
lot
out
of
with more
fallacies.
people than anybody. Go ahead, Tom.
Like he's got a lot of fallacies. Like humbleness is not to show to people; it's just to show to your God. And I'm like, that's not true.
That's
And he's like,
insane.
and he has to know something about you to respect you. I'm like, well, there's a common decency, respect we give each other.
I agree.
it's the devil's in the details, you know.
Yeah, I agree on both points.
Agree with
God
that.
is using us all, right?
Yes.
We will, in some fashion, we will be lessons for others to learn from, particularly those foolish enough to bring our asses up here on YouTube, put it all public for everyone, you know?
Yeah,
It's a rite of passage.
it is, ain't it? Yes,
You know?
it is. It is. I went through it, man. You know who roasted me? Kate and them, Mazhole them, Mazhole Troll. I know Tommy know who they are. And fucking Sancho and them. Oh, that was my into the community. They tore my ass, bro. Ooh.
You know, and I'll never forget like the first real hard loss I took in boxing matches. I was kind of down on myself, and this dude I just kind of casually knew in my hometown. The next day on my Facebook, he was like, "Hey man, it takes something just to get in that ring."
Right, I
And
agree.
that's
Right.
all I needed to hear. It was like, "Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, man. I got busted up pretty good."
That's why I'm really nice to cop watchers out there. You know, they don't even have to do nothing incredible, and I'm gonna leave something on there to try and encourage them because I know how difficult it is just to put that camera and pick it up and face it at a cop. It's hard.
You know?
Hey, that I like that. I respect that. People seeing the shoes, seeing the perspective of others. That's honestly how we understand. And to tie it, not to bring it up again, but there's a similarity to all of us, and we can learn how to respect the time, the time that we're sharing together. We don't have to be insulting and trying to dominate.
Jack, you can't share like me. You can't dominate like me. You can't sculpt like me.
Well, I know this is kind of this is what's been so. Oh, here's where it's at. I know my destiny, my future. Well, I know my goals. I know my goals. At some point, I am going to have a breakthrough, and I'm going to rise up, and this will be looked back on as a starting point. And so, thank you again, brothers and sisters, all of you who are here.
Yeah.
I'm 50 years old, but my life is just getting started. My goal is to share the truth of God's love, to bring peace to this world. I want to change this place as much as I can before
Are
I'm
you
done.
are you aware? And I agree. That's I say the same shit every day. Are you aware that goal you won't achieve it? It's right. By the time if your goal was whatever it is, by the time you get there, you will be a different man and your goal will have changed. So you never really achieve your goals.
Hey, Jack and Joe, real quick, are you aware of this saying? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct.
Oh,
I would agree with that.
put the calendar away, Smith. Put the calendar away. Or rip it off, see what tomorrow says.
It's still
How
a
about-
calendar.
How about this? I'm actually evidence of those words, Joe. When I first started taking actions with the belief I could do more,
Yeah.
I was only looking at my workplace. I was only looking at, well, I wasn't only, but I was looking primarily at the Postal Service.
You still give way too much attention to those fucks, in my opinion.
I still care about them, and I can. And here's the brilliant thing: God's created the opportunity, created the perfect. There's a chance now because I'm no longer an employee. I'm no longer a business owner. If I can somehow get the attention of those executives again, one of the guys is no longer there. I know that, but if I can speak to the people in the positions again, I know for a fact I can help improve the workplace for the postal employees across
You
the
are
nation.
that insane girlfriend that just won't go away. You are.
Well, Joe,
Jack, I think the workplace is doing pretty good considering the Postal Service was the original mass bang people. Like some people aren't old enough to remember that.
Going postal was the thing.
Yeah,
That
the
was
original
phrase.
mass bangs
Guys,
were postal workers.
and here's the irony, right? Myself, after the reputation of employees going postal and that term, I'm supposedly too dangerous for them to talk to.
That's what
This
I'm
is the
saying. No
insanity.
doctor, whoever, even if you pay, they can't put that shit on the line. It just, it's fucked up.
Well, here, back to what you were saying, Joe. Originally, those were my goals, and I still have not departed those goals, but now my goals are bigger. Now I see there's a path to try and change this entire world. And Joe, you're right. The chances of success minuscule.
But
Yeah.
don't stop trying.
Chances of
You can't stop trying.
amen.
The,
and
the last part of that, because you guys interrupted me. The last part of it was that since you know that goal is won't be achieved, every day is what matters. What you do today is what matters, and I'm sure Jesse.
Does he
That's
know it's
good,
not going to be
Jesse.
achieved, though? That's what I just said, is whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct.
that's
Yeah.
the key.
Hey,
And here,
Jack,
hold on.
I need to
let me
let
finish
your
this.
mods know that they're doing fine. Truth or cop, you know how your chat has been. Get that stuff out of here. She was out of line. She's timed out. Get over it.
Anyway,
All right.
here's the deal, too. I know that many people who have come out, and here's the reality is I used to think if I succeeded, I probably wouldn't succeed. I used to think that I'd have a breakthrough and be assassinated, right? And when I was a kid, I remember having that topic in class, what do you want to do when you grow up and how do you want to die or something like that? I wanted to be assassinated.
You take
Because
the.
if
I
I
gotta stop. I gotta pause you. That term, the way I speak is too weird sometimes. But that term is arrogant in the sense that Tommy talked about it earlier. Assassinated, because in reality, me and you can be killed. We can't be assassinated.
Well,
Well,
that means
Joe,
he wants to
you
do
interrupted before I was finished.
I know I
just
was.
going to tie that knot.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I realized as a kid is that if I was assassinated,
Yeah.
well, that meant that I'd risen to such a place that people wanted me dead,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that end.
Listen,
And
you didn't. I think you missed it. You do understand, though. At one point, you were a kid and you thought I'd be assassinated. Even as a kid, you thought you were equal to those guys, right? And I think it's the same thing now.
What's your
I
point?
think that you think you're entitled to be up there. You're entitled to be more than you are.
yeah,
What the fuck are you saying, bro?
Maybe I'm not saying it well, but it was to him if he understood.
No, it didn't make sense.
Well,
You're trying
he
to
was-
say
Well,
he's
Jack,
less
I
than
was-
that he can't accomplish his goals because they can't be attainable. I can't
But-
save the world, and I'm not coming to terms with that, Joe. I'm not going to accept that I can't change the world. I'm going to keep trying every day.
amen.
I
But
told
Jack,
you
I
must
was
keep
going to
trying.
say earlier, if you want to spread God's love, and all throughout history, that would have been great. But from now on, it's probably going to make you hated by the world.
It's always
Perfect.
been like that throughout history.
Perfect. I would
There's
gladly
nothing-
die for Christ. I'd gladly be beheaded in the town
Yeah,
square in Christ's name.
Guys,
That's why I assume I'm singled
Guys.
out.
No,
hey, this is the funny part of this story is that is literally happening right now. Except my journey is pretty much painless, just a lot of emotional and mental bullshit I had to deal with. But I have faith, Joe. I used to think, and when I was a kid, I didn't know how it would happen, but I just knew that if you rise to power, I'd learned of Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that's who was kind of in my mind. I was like, and Joe, please, it's not arrogance. There is a confidence in me that knows that those asshats like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Joe Biden,
Yeah.
they have the same number of hours each day that I do. I know that they are no different than you and me. They just got people believing different things about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would call it more of a confidence, a faith, or a hope. It's I don't think it's
Then you guys misunderstood me. Smith, I think you're talking about the faith in accomplishing a thing,
Yeah.
and with Jack, I'm talking about more of the arrogance part of the kid to say, oh shit, I'd be assassinated.
Again, I'm not being combative, Joe. I'm just saying I don't think that's arrogant. I think it's having faith and confidence in what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, chances are I probably won't save the world. I will not quit trying. I will not quit trying.
You listen, if you're a kid of God, you cannot. But that doesn't matter.
The guy's 6'5" in public and he's wearing a mask. I'm gonna call him out on it.
Why?
Well, here, guys.
He's free to wear a mask.
What if God is changing the world and it's through us? We just need to understand what direction God wants us to turn, when God wants us to move, when God wants us to speak. All those answers come from it within, not just that book. Many people worship a Bible or worship an image of a character they learned of, but there's a God who is present with all of us, that moves nature, it moves time, it moves us.
Good.
How we feel, what we think, what we say, and what we do, those things truly matter. It's time for us to purify ourselves.
He's present. He was pre-sent, and he's like a present.
I love that. These ideas of God, I would have rejected these conversations so quickly. Not a long time ago, right? So I understand people's resistance to some of the things I say. I've been resistant. It's taken me a lot of time. Pardon?
That everybody's doing is, like I told you at the beginning, man, this saying like, oh, they worship the actual book. And I've never met anybody that like bows to the Bible. Like,
I have seen people that worship like a little fat-bellied statue. That's like false idol worship.
Like,
I don't worship the book. I worship the word.
Guys, there's some of those things can be taken out of context.
Yeah,
They bow to they bow to Jesus,
exaggerate.
to the cross. They bow to, they do literally have Jesus on every wall when they're praying and stuff.
There's, hey, as far as worshiping a book, what I see a lot of people following the Christian denomination doing is I see them trying to fit what they're doing into the book. Is that right?
Yeah, I understand.
Rather than applying the book to their life.
I totally understand what you're saying.
You get that?
Yeah.
It's
I'm guilty of that shit. In a sense that I have to try to update it, right? If they say if your donkey falls in a ditch, I have to bring it up to Cadillac into a ditch or something. And in my just to update it to modern. And in that, I'm a bit I might bend the rules a little bit where in today's society I might take a little shit.
Yeah. I think I got you. For myself, I think the core meaning and message out of that Bible is God, right? There's a God. Let's stop ignoring it. Let's stop taking it for granted. There's a God, and the real message of that book is love.
Okay, do you know what? And I'm glad Flo, and you're never gonna hear me say this again. I'm glad Flo states in the chat. But one of the biggest things that was triggering me when I was not in their conversation the other night is so many people always say, oh, I've read the Bible 4 times. I've read the Bible 5 times. Yeah. Well, if you don't know what was going on in that time in history, you're not reading it right. If you don't know why they're saying the things they're saying, the context of it, that's why studying it blows my mind. So, like, you need a separate history book of that era to know what context they're even talking in.
You're right, Tommy. What my girlfriend needed to do in order for her to get out of Christianity was she read the Bible 5 times, but she also read it twice in its original text. But then she studied culture and language at the time that it was written in order to get a real comprehension and not just all the other versions of that they've wanted to tell you and teach you about.
So
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even in the book of Paul, when he says law like a million times, he's talking about like 7 different contexts of law, but each time he just says law.
You know, what you're saying is right. And Jesse, this is where I feel I've been blessed. We've got a lot of scholars alive today who have done what Angeline has done with on her own, studied the history, the culture, the languages, and there's a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different presentations, but that's a pretty damn big book, and there's a lot of history involved in it. But history truly is fascinating, and in the end, I am committed to this belief that the unspoken lesson from the Bible is stop becoming slaves, right? And stop promoting people to be rulers of
Isn't
your
that
choices.
you say unspoken? That's kind of a theme there. Be in this world, but not of it. Give to Caesar what is his, render to Caesar what is his.
And there's definitely instructions on both owning and being a slave. That's kind of the thing, is like, no matter what you are on this rock at any time in history, you can still do Christianity.
I think
You
I
can
understand what you're
still
saying.
do Jesus walk.
You can be a mass murderer and still be a Christian.
No, you wouldn't be a mass murderer if you were being a Christian. And this is what I think is so challenging about my family initiating me into it as early as possible in life, because it seems more conceptual. Like, let's say you're Joe's age, you've lived a life of whatever, and then you become a Christian, you feel that change. But all my mistakes and all my wrongdoing I did coming up in life, I was already a Christian. I can't have that turning point.
Yeah. It would have to be that, because time is not really a thing. This is how God, it would be easy for him to be omniscient. He knows all, because time is not really a thing. It's only a restraint for us. So yes, you would have been a Christian, even though you come down here and you thought you were wobbling. No, you were of the family before you even came to this fucking place. The energy that can not be destroyed, only transformed. It was that your God energy over there, and it'll go back to the other side.
Yeah.
Eternal energy. That was one of the things we talked about is man's sciences. People have found patterns in the exchange of energy and all the different forms of things that make us move.
They've used science from God.
It is all exchange. And here, something I really know to be true. If we want to receive more wealth, more love, more health, more anything, we must be willing to sacrifice. We must be willing to give.
Yeah.
Give time, give attention, give effort.
Yeah. And put other people before you, right? Like, for instance, if you, Jack, I get my ass kicked all the time, I think my friend needs help. I think he needs a little tough lesson here. I know I'm going to get beat up. So you throw yourself in the fray, you take a little beating, but I'm putting Jack before me. That's how I see it. I wouldn't pick on you for the sake of picking on you or nothing that. I feel like I'm being big brother when I'm doing those things. And I know I'm going to get my ass kicked in advance. And I say it's worth it, man. If I got a shot at making my guy tougher so these creeps can't hurt him or make his skin a little thicker, I'm going to do that shit.
Well, that is how we resemble packs of wolves or dogs. Like, do you remember having a friend in school that was kind of punked around too much to where
Mhm.
you started to feel like you wanted to punk him because you were so, like, you started to lose respect that he would let himself get punked that much, and you
Yeah.
start to feel the urge to punk him too. So he's got to strengthen up, or like you got to
Uh,
ride or die pretty much.
I know I felt the urge, and I would tell a motherfucker, yell at a motherfucker. I can remember doing that shit. Nigga, you better woo woo woo. But I haven't felt the urge to become a bully because other motherfuckers bullying people. At least I hope not. In fact, I'm the guy who, when there's a nerd, a new person in the school, I was popular, I would go over there and introduce him, make sure he has a friend, a place to sit at lunch. That was my instinct all my life.
So if we didn't, you know what a furry is, right?
Yeah, tonic.
If
Furry.
there was no bullies, we'd all be furry. Or our worst stupid thing we should have been challenged on. Like, bullies do offer a tier of challenge to your stupid ideas or your stupid.
No,
In
no.
some cases, you're right, but not in the case of a furry and someone who wants to go LARP in the forest. Do that. Be you if you want to dress up as Chewbacca or something. Do you? It's not
This ain't no
stupid, and you shouldn't
costume
have been
party.
bullied because of that.
They yiff. Yiffing is when they do the adult dance in their costume.
I'm not just furries. I got a buddy who role plays and shit and dresses up like Indiana Jones and shit. And
Yeah, that's LARPing.
and he gets jumped for it. Yes, he gets attacked for it. Yeah.
Hey, what would you guys? I have my own answer on this. Did God create logic?
Of course,
It's
he's
an
great of
interesting-
all. Of course, he
Well,
did.
that was my thought too.
I mean, it's a product of intelligence or critical
Yes.
thinking, I think.
All other
'Cause
creations of his to make
The
logic
same way,
occur.
remember, Jack, when we were talking about like an addict's logic, a cop's logic, a king's logic, that's
Right.
also how you get the jump on someone or figure out where a lost person is. You think with their logic, you rationalize their logic.
That is how. Hey, actually, it's a proven way. We've got, as I understand, these mirror neurons in our mind that
Yeah.
are used for just that. We place ourselves in the other shoes to imagine their situation, and through the mirrored neurons, that is actually how we learn. Our learning comes through our imagination, imagining the thing that we're
Yes.
understanding in our own way.
When that Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge.
Einstein or Tesla?
No, I think it was Einstein.
Yeah.
Here's one I
That's
forgot some pushback on, but people say money is the root of all evil. What?
That's
There's a love
incorrect.
of money.
But what
The love
treated?
of money is
What,
a-
I was
love of
still
money.
talking. Excuse me.
well, it's a key. It's a significant word in there.
Yeah.
People say money's the root of all evil. What tree did Eve eat from? It wasn't
What-
the tree of money.
No one
Knowledge
says
evil.
money is the root of all
Knowledge
evil.
evil? I don't know.
No one says money is the root of all evil. It is the love of money that is the root of all evil.
Yes, sir.
But it sure sounds like it's knowledge.
Well, yeah, I get where
Yes, I hear. Okay, I
Smith
see where
is
you're
going.
Yeah.
The tree of life and the tree of knowledge led to the knowledge of good and evil. Information helps us to know, but it doesn't change that which is. We don't have to know that which is. We get to know.
No, you do have to know. Because we were cast out of the garden, so we
Tom,
couldn't eat the
we
tree of
get-
life. No, you got this wrong. This is wrong, Jack.
get-
I'm talking Bible.
We
Now-
get to know today, right? We
No.
get to know because the Creator allows us the gift of knowledge. And it is
May I-
through the gift of knowledge that we learn of temptations. We
No, that
imagine
was-
excuses. We find
That's how we
blame.
effed up. Everything was perfect matrix. It was peachy keen. We would have been heaven on earth. When
It
we
still
took
is
on the
perfect.
knowledge of good and evil, that's when they realized they were naked, when they felt ashamed. and then they cast us out of the garden because had we eaten of the tree of life, you'd never die with this. You just
So, Tom,
stay there.
you were
They ate
saying
from
you
the tree of
must.
knowledge, and they use that to make TV screens and atomic bombs and everything else that came from. I'm not trying to be combative. I'm just throwing that out there. That's all.
Tom, when you saying you
nothing.
must know, I think Jack said you get to know, and I
So
think you
yeah,
said you
thanks,
must
Joe.
know.
What I
Yeah.
was saying is you didn't have to know anything. You were like stupid in the Lord. It was great. But now that you took on the knowledge, that is why it's so crazy confusing. That is why you have to discern and dwell and meditate and figure this out.
All right.
Because like,
Interesting.
you want to play that game. You
but
want to eat the
Tom,
you big boy. You want to eat the
Tom,
knowledge.
Okay,
Tom,
Tommy, let him go.
what I want you to consider though is
I can throw
what you're
some big in
saying
here.
is true. The past, but I want to offer a correction. The past was perfect, and then the story continued, it evolved, and today is perfect. For us to believe
Well,
today is not perfect would be to dismiss the perfection of our
you
Creator.
can be correct still,
So-
Jack. When you say you get to, that is
So,
the
Tom,
attitude you should have.
I know. I love you, brother. The other thing I want you to consider
homo.
is that this time, you're right. We live in an age where discernment
time.
truly is important, but it's not as
This
difficult.
time, Jack.
It's not as difficult as the ego mind wants us to believe.
Well,
Because
for somebody out
have-
there, some
we have
people it
the-
is.
well, it is until they realize it is not.
But
People
it's the
re-
thing we were
people think
talking
a
about
choice-
letting each other deal with. This
Tom,
is that thing we were talking about.
I'd
though.
much
That's what I'm
rather
trying to
you
tell
understood me instead of talking over me to make sure
Jack,
that you're heard.
I got the feedback. I got the message today.
You're-
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Well, this is
This
the
is
problem.
brotherly.
That is not your purpose for my time. I assure you.
And it
If
could be
anything,
arrogance and ego. It can at least come off as like that. Like your shit is so important, you get to interrupt Jack because your shit's more important. That reeks of arrogance and ego. Exactly what you guys are talking about right now.
Thank you, Joe. This is what this is what I've been trying to break for myself, and I'm encouraging others to recognize as well. When we're speaking over, trying to make sure our way is understood, that's an insecurity, man. So I was trying to get somewhere. What the hell was I saying? Oh, it's easier.
That's what I
it's
wrote in the back
easier-
chat, Jack.
It's easier to meditate and reflect and discern. It is so much easier to do that than you want to believe, because what that means is many of us, and I'm confident that it applies to many people that we've met on these panels, many people are walking around with a blinder on. They know the truth of something, but they're unwilling to accept it. Here, I am
Maybe
an
they
example of
backstage
that.
people over it.
It's like they refuse to love the truth.
That see,
I
we are at
fucking
this
love
time.
truth.
So
Jack.
you say. So you say.
No, Jack, read the back chat. Like everybody that plays basketball knows they have a day. Oh, I'm on fire today. Pass me the rock. And when I know you're on fire, I pass you the rock. Don't ever tell me that's ego when I'm cooking.
Tom,
Do
you've
you
never
still- do
fucking
you s-
passed me the
wait,
rock or
wait,
shown
do
me
you s-
respect day one.
Wait, no, a better analogy is stealing the rock from your teammates is what you're doing.
No.
You're taking
wanna,
it. You're
if you
not
want to try and
getting it. He's
demonize
not
me,
passing it to you. You're
That was
taking it when you
passion.
step on his conversation.
no, that was passion. You guys have let your
passing
daddy
made you
get
steal
worse
the
than that
ball
on you.
from your teammates. You don't get a pass
Nah,
for that.
no, Joe, because the difference is all day you've been passing me the rock saying, yeah, go, boy, go.
Tom,
And then all of a
Yes,
sudden
okay,
you
yes.
Mom,
I didn't
we-
step on you and take it so I could shine,
I didn't
which is
take
what
it.
you're doing, stepping on Jack so because you want to shine
Nah,
and dunk.
I didn't do that. You're
You
back
didn't
in
wait
his
for the
narrative.
pass from Jack. You took it by
No,
stepping
I
over
don't
him.
do this anymore. I am speaking
Tom.
truth. I'm not letting you host fucking bully me anymore. I'm
Then you can go
Kanye.
somewhere
Sound
now.
like you don't want to love. Sound like you don't want to love the truth, like Jack just said.
That's
I'm not
unfortunately-
bullying you, man. I'm just trying to give my version
No.
of a thing, and you interpret it as you're being bullied.
Hey
Fuck
Joe,
outta
thank
here.
you for
And I'm
thank you for
sorry.
pointing it out. You did so in a nice way, I
All
thought.
right, all right.
And this is the reality. This is the reality of what we're dealing with is people are blind to their egoic patterns. And Tommy's a great guy. Tommy, you were not being bullied. You were being asked to cooperate. Your
I like it.
unwillingness to cooperate resulted in you being placed in the back.
Yes, you will interpret it as something else. People attacked you. Jack is evil and all of those things. You had bad form. In order for a conversation to continue and continue well, people must follow certain rules, all of us. And one of them is you wait till motherfucker finish speaking. And one in these YouTube streets is the host gets gets to speak. It's his room. He gets to set tempos, set topics, and all that. If you decide that you don't want to live by those standards in someone else's house, you're going to walk around with your boots because you feel a certain way on their white carpet, you're going to end up in the basement. It won't be because they hate you or nothing crazy like that, bro.
First and foremost, this is Jack's house. We need to respect Jack and the kind of the flow he sets down. First and foremost, right? Because this is his panel that he's created, comes every day for us. So if we can respect that, then we can all get along.
All right, I won't walk in here with dog shit on my shoes.
Exactly.
Thank you. And you know what? It is, in my perspective, I can take a lot. I care about the others on the panel. I care about what is being available for the viewers. Because this nonsense on the insulting each other's, man, I don't find it fun anymore. I really don't.
So pointless.
Oh, that's good, man.
Mr. Talcott of Talcottia, hello, sir, and hope you're having a good day.
Thank you.
What up,
Thank you.
I hear you're dying with the climate change virus.
I hope you guys are all doing well, and I just want to say never forget today. It was a very big day, as we all know, but things are ramping up. It's good to see everyone.
22
years ago. Still
Yes, sir.
unresolved.
But it's still in the money you hold. It's still in the monopoly money you hold. Remember, you fold it right. It shows the whole story. And the optics are high.
Yep.
We did a really good interview today on The Missing Link with George Webb, talking all about 9/11 and connecting the dots, names, and the places, people who's actually pulling these strings. And it was jam-packed roller coaster ride of information.
Give us some of the bullet points, man. What is the short version?
Genie Energy, Donald Rumsfeld, the Mossad, Saudi Arabia, the Bushes, all kinds of things that all connect. But not a lot of people will talk about the Mossad and, it was Israel and their connection. It's taboo to talk about it. But, we talked about it and he was no punches pulled. I directly asked him so many relevant questions and he answered them like a champ. And, it was a really good interview for anybody that likes that kind of stuff.
I do. And all of those things I would have assumed those characters you said had to play a role in order for it to happen the way I think it happened. So it sounds like an interesting conversation.
Well, I started out with this topic, the mystery of 22 years ago, the mystery of Lahaina. Lots of mysteries going on in this lifetime. And
Canada.
So, brothers and sisters, I think we'll solve many of the mysteries when we confront the illusions of hierarchy, these illusions of separations.
Yes. You're doing killing. I was just gonna say I see the same shit. I don't understand how someone thinks they're better than another person. It's usually because it's some homeless guy. You're better than him because of some reason. I don't get that shit. Or in here, if a person does something, whatever it is, smack their wife, kick the dog, or whatever it is, suddenly you're allowed to be better than that person to the point where you can talk about their family, so and so. They deserve it because they're different than you are.
Respectfully, I am better than somebody who's hitting their wife or girlfriend.
Maybe at the moment, but there may be other times.
Your wife or girlfriend, you're a piece of trash.
I oppose violence to anyone, honestly.
But especially women. That's just me.
Well, we live in a very sick and diseased world where people don't treat each other with respect, regardless of gender, regardless of color, regardless of age. It's become, seriously, humanity. There is a lot of toxicity. There is a lot of maybe karma, a lot of whatever. There is a lot of darkness that can be healed.
It's that judgment shit.
Yes.
If we can get rid of that judgment shit, you know, we could fucking pull it off, man. You can call out a thing, but you can't judge a motherfucker, right? You can critique it. Oh, he's probably, shouldn't have done it that way. But you can't start saying, he's an addict. We can treat him like a piece of shit. She's a prostitute. I'm better than her. He failed in business. He's a piece of shit. And that's what we do daily. For every small
I think there's what's called a righteous judgment, though, Joe. You want to protect yourself.
It's not ours to
no,
give,
think about this. If you had family kids, right, and you had two people and one was like fucked up and the other one wasn't, and you could discern who would be safer if you had to choose one in your home, aren't you going to use that righteous judgment?
Use discernment.
Aren't you going to use that righteous judgment to protect yourself and your
judgment? I would use discernment.
Yes.
Discernment. That's the word to use, discernment. That's what I meant, but that's the same as discernment is a judgment.
We've talked about this. I have spoken about this, the distinction between judgment and discernment before. It really comes down to intentions and perspectives. Judgment comes from one who believes they're better or worse than. They are not the same.
Yeah.
And judgment typically is the action that is followed by blame for the purposes of punishment.
Yes.
So Snafu, I won't speak for you, but it seems you believe in punishment.
And they're not the same thing, because discernment, you don't have to blame a motherfucker and all that shit just to take my family away from harm. I'm not judging a motherfucker. Discernment and judgment are not.
No, I guess it's the same word we're using, discernment, judgment. To me, it's like you got to judge, discern, figure out, what you're feeling, what you're vibing. And so, I get what you're saying. It's the same wordage I was using, basically.
I just want to throw this out there, too. They're kind of the same thing, that discernment means the ability to judge well. Okay, I'll be quiet for you.
So all you
exactly.
Are you guys willing to turn on a dime and take on something I want to show you in the chat? It's a totally its own thing that's blowing my mind, but you have to be able to turn on a dime off this and get all the feels over me off.
Fresh start.
These people are making me feel crazy right now. The description Destroyer's giving, Truther Cop and Destroyer, this narrative they're setting in the chat, it makes me feel insane to think of them believing that's the reality.
Fucking having a hard on for Truther Cop? Jesus, Tommy.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't mean Snafu. I meant the four guys in the T shape.
What is your hard
on? Be quiet and hear you out.
Would you like to tell me what's going on, Snafu, since you're so keen?
No, go ahead and enlighten us. How come you have such a hard on for Truther Cop?
Jack, I'm not your producer. Mute some people up and keep your broadcast on the rails.
Yeah, Tommy, you interrupted us, so you can say it.
All right, never mind. I'll handle it myself. Leave me to my thing, right?
Fabulous.
Do like I do.
All right,
leave me to my thing.
Okay.
Hey, bless you, Tommy. And hold on, Smith, for you to for the number of times I get interrupted, spoken over, for people to be on this panel to then tell me what to do, Smith. Okay. Yeah, and I get what Tommy was saying. He doesn't appreciate the way the narrative is being described of him. Well, Tommy, I didn't pay close attention, but please, some of those, you've got patterns, Tommy, and you do. You present it as though you're on a path and you're this savior of character, but
your hands are not clean. That's what he's saying. Your hands are not clean.
You and Paul have a lot of similarities. Tommy?
Right. You go into Tommy, I know you go into a courtroom and you gotta have clean hands. Meaning if you're gonna go in there and say someone's been attacking me and all of that shit, you can't have been doing it back. That was a clean hands. If you've been doing it back, you don't get the same considerations. And Jack is saying, yes, you're complaining about the niggas in chat, but you don't have clean hands.
A lot of people point the fingers and project what they're doing onto others. It's like a classic example. If you just listen, people will reveal themselves.
Agreed.
Actually, in defense, if it comes up, don't judge me as correct. Tommy has been on his best behavior. He's been presenting very well. He has.
Okay, thank you. Don't judge me.
Yes, I'm not diminishing what is good. Okay, but just because someone does something good doesn't mean they get a free range excuse to continue presenting unacceptable behavior. I had to draw the line in Paul. The leash is very short with him, or the rope, whatever. Same thing with Tommy, and well, there's several people that have.
I've been on good behavior today.
What's that?
I said I've been on good behavior today.
I think for the most part, we've had a very pleasant and, in my opinion, very
productive
and enjoyable conversations. I appreciate the participation, and it's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Not yelling insults at each other. And
that's why I didn't yell at you and say, Jack, do this. I said, hey, I'm not your producer. I'm just throwing this out there. I don't need scolded. I'm here for your best interest, Jack.
Well,
I promise.
I understand that, but it would be a better use of our time if you were here for your best interest, because I actually have a lot to offer a man like you.
You were asking about the meaning of life earlier. I think the meaning of life is to make a difference in someone else's life. It's not about fulfilling your own dreams and wishes. It's about making a difference in other people's lives.
I always say that's your sole purpose, is to do something else with someone besides yourself.
Welcome, Unslavius. Good to see you, brother.
Jack, can I come back? I want to be a good boy too and be accepted.
I see so many Paul icons.
I promise I'll be on my good behavior.
You know what? You are welcome here, but the attitude and the arrogance are not healthy. And please, you're welcome here.
It's like half of the reason everybody watches me is my attitude and arrogance. What am I going to do if I abandon that?
You're gonna follow the same fucking rules that everybody else follows when you're in someone else's crib.
Actually, I think you would have more fun with less frustration. I really do. I think you'd have more fun with less conflicts, and I believe with more fun and more focus on sharing value instead of making sure the entertainment part goes, I think you'd be rewarded greater.
I get to learn a lot less every time you feel like you need to teach Jack a lesson. I am not, I'm not benefiting. I need to know about a lot of shit I could be benefiting from. A lot of knowledge you have that I'm not getting while you're correcting Jack.
I'm going to dip out of this broadcast. Nice to see you, Jesse, Joe, Jack, Paul. I just want to throw this out there. Nobody gives a shit what my opinion is. But yeah, I really think you'd soar if you took that same energy and passion for what you're already amazing at and extend it to other areas which you sometimes dabble in that you're also good at. Like you were covering some of the border and things like that. That'd be amazing.
Right. Hey, could you just stop bringing me up in front of Jack? Because I already see the eyebrows going down. He's getting pissed. Don't make this all about me and how great I am. It's embarrassing, Diane. Jack.
No, I wasn't. I was throwing some love to everybody up here, and just again to reiterate that the thing that we should be doing in the world is making a difference in people's lives and coming together on our common enemy. We all have a common enemy. It's not each other. God bless y'all.
Bless you, Pimp.
Bless you. And I heard a panel earlier on today, and there was somebody that came up and they said, I would watch you guys a lot more if it wasn't all bickering at each other. It's hard to take day after day when people are just constantly at each other. And he said, I'd participate, I'd come on more if it always wasn't just that, at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting part to that, not to offer any criticism, but an obvious truth. Many of the things we complain about It's something we notice, and if we actually vocalize that complaint, it's probably something we can do something about. And that's a fresh thought. I didn't think that
It
completely
always
through. It may
is
not
something
be
you
true.
can do something about,
Well,
and it would always be in your actions and something you do to bring about. But I've never seen something that you couldn't do something. You might not steer the chips totally, but you will be able to move it a hair. There's always something you can
you're
do.
right.
Yeah.
And if anything, the perception. Sometimes the perception is the problem.
In what way? Be specific.
Recognizing the behavior.
The
Oh,
result.
perceiving it.
Yeah.
Right, like our common enemy isn't as much who or what we think it is as much as it is the ignorance that is so ubiquitous and widespread. The
That is
masters
the
never
enemy.
once have come and attacked me directly. It was my own brothers and sisters on the ground, full of ignorance, ego, as the Talcottian one always references, arrogance, and false claims.
The
So-
masters
your
tricked
parts,
them
I'm sure.
and used them as weapons against you and us.
Right, but you can't be used unless you're willing to be used, or you're such a dupe that you're being used unknowingly.
You said
Most
it
people are
ignorant.
not that
You said
stupid.
it.
They're just willing
Ignorant.
dupes.
You
Hold
said
on,
ignorant. They are ignorant.
let's dig into this. Don't be used, because you've brought that forth in towards me that you're not going to be used.
Shit. Now we were
and
trying to keep it away
we
from
are
you,
here
Jack.
to
You're bringing it
serve.
here. You're doing
We are
this.
here to serve one another, and to serve one another, guess what that means? We're going to be used for a purpose. So there's a lot of people who have this wall, this boundary, their levels, their standards. I will not be used. I will not obey. I will not comply. Well, there's a time for those things. And then there's a time for other things.
I would agree. Everything seems to have a season. Yeah. I didn't even hear the used comment, so I don't even know what you're commenting on.
It's
He's doing the thing where he addresses grievances subconsciously and doesn't address them directly. Is what I'm getting.
I try to address them directly, but there's always
He's basically like somehow bringing this back around to me and him, and how I won't cooperate and obey him on his panel, even though we're having a discussion. See how good I am at decoding people with some psychological bullshit? We're talking about something that affects all of us. He's so egoic, he's going to make it about me and him and cycling back to.
Oh, fucking go complain somewhere else. Spend hours on your stream complaining and bitching and gossiping, and yep, you can come here and complain and bitch and gossip about me from the backstage, bitch. I love you guys.
Somebody clip it. I want to show my girlfriend that.
Well, while Paul was here, I limited this other part of my life. Welcome back, Snafu and Tommy.
You don't get it, Jack.
Oh, I get it.
The way you guys have no tolerance for me and will listen to his bullshit all day. We're like the fucking yin.
Yep, you're always going around patterning his exact behavior, complaining and gossiping and interrupting for your own fucking ego needs. You're right, Tommy.
Thumbs up the great Talcott of Talcottia. Help him hit those algae back.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God. I love you guys. Well, hey, I am in good spirits. I don't want you to think angry or frustrated. This is it's
like
childish
you're not
behavior.
over the top. Yeah.
When people want to behave as children, I can return that. I can return juvenile, power game.
Think you did it well too. The way you just did that, you trolled Paul a little bit at you, kicked him. I thought that was funny. And And what you cut, dude, immediately and say,
Joe, did you hear what he was saying, though?
I thought
Joe,
it was
he
funny.
came in here saying that everyone had issues because of their egoic problems, because of their egoic issues. He still isn't accountable for shit, Joe. Quit acting like he came in here and did something. He came in here to just talk shit and start you with Talcott and try and trigger him. He was not accountable, and all he did was blame Talcott and others.
I don't think I commented on Paul. I said Jack.
He wasn't accountable for shit.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, what Snafu described, in my opinion, was accurate for both Paul and Tom. They were here. They were both demonstrate. Actually, I won't say Tom came for that. They both showed in the beginning that they are capable of having peaceful conversations. I know they are.
Yeah.
But their willingness to continue when shown that there might be a flaw. Oh my God, you might not be perfect, Paul. Oh no. Yeah, I'm going to shatter your fucking wake up. You do make mistakes, Paul, on a daily basis. You do not speak perfectly. You are not the Christ. So, and Tom, I love you, brother. God brought us all together for some reason.
Hey, Tommy, I just read that. When was the last time I finished the sentence? Problem is, Tommy, when you get that feeling that you said you had, blah, blah, you make it about you. And if you notice, the last 2 times you come in here, you was like, make it about me, and you know, what's going on with the chat. And then you come up here again, and immediately it's about, you see how what happened with Paul? It's the same thing that happens to me. It's always has to be flipped about you. You don't get to finish the sentence, Tommy, probably because you're always talking about the same thing. You, when you was kicking in on the conversation in general, you had no issues. When it fucking had to become about Tommy as an individual, suddenly you end up in the basement 4 times.
Well,
pay attention.
I'm ready to wrap up, but Paul.
So, Joe, did you just completely miss the part where we were talking again like yesterday and Jack couldn't help but to subconsciously? Why are you laughing?
I saw that.
I know. We all know you saw it, but you never.
Hey, Paul, do you not recognize where the fuck you are? Paul, are you that oblivious to reality? You don't know where the fuck you are? That you click the link on someone else's panel? You don't realize that, dumbass?
Absolutely, I do. You're a mental patient. I came to hang out with you. Joe Cool won't even call you on anything he knows yourself.
Hey, Paul, kiss my ass. You're mental patient bullshit. And Joe, you know that's a lie. Everyone who sees Joe's constantly calling me out.
Wait, yeah, that part's a lie. But he was right when he said, I saw it going there, and I said something like, Jack, we were trying to keep this away from Paul. You're about to bring it there. That's the incident that
Hey, okay, but so what? Hey, Joe, from my position.
Wait. Yes, I know the other side. I see a lot. I saw the other side of that. I saw him come up here and do something to you to trigger you to do that. That occurred as well.
Joe noticed it, and he was like, yeah, like, let's not go here. And he was trying to make sure that that conversation didn't get directed that way.
Right, exactly. Right. Let's walk on eggshells and kiss fucking Paulie's ass and make sure we don't do anything.
It was going so well. I didn't want to disrupt it.
Well, please, for the love of God, can you try to consider why I see benefit in trying to communicate with him about his past problems?
No, I'm okay with that. Earlier in the same conversation, because earlier in the same conversation, we were saying it was a negative thing to have Paul up here fuck up the conversation. That's why we can't have it like that. Gotcha. So that's why
I shouldn't have brought him up, period. I shouldn't have allowed him to the panel.
No, do what you want to do. I was just pointing out that it's about to go where we said earlier. It's going to disrupt our great conversation.
You're pointing the finger at me, Joe, as though it's my fucking fault that I didn't follow the rules to kiss Paul's ass to make sure that he didn't turn this into a problem. You're right. I should have just avoided it.
You're reading that
American way.
I didn't say that.
Do it the American way,
You're reading that shit into it. That's you being hurt. I said none of that, right?
No.
You read a lot into that, bro.
Well, I'm trying to understand. Explain yourself then. What the fuck were you trying to get across?
I've said it 3 times. We were having a good conversation.
Yep.
And we said we can't do that when some people come up here. Paul comes out here and it turns into an argument and blah, blah, blah because of the ego and all of that shit. Paul's
Right.
up here. He was doing
Right.
well. We're having a good conversation. And and you say, well, I don't even know what you said.
Yeah, I brought something of his behavior.
Yes, yes. You say, Paul,
lies about me. I
right,
brought
right.
those
Here's
up.
what you said. Yes, here's what you said. You said, yeah, Paul, sometimes you do that towards me. I was trying to keep it off of you and Paul so we didn't disrupt the you asked me. Oh, you asked me what I was doing.
Okay.
You saying why?
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
You were trying to do that so that we didn't have the disruption from the conversation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but what you're seeing here is you're saying, and I guess you're right. I see your side. I'm to blame. I brought him up to the panel, so I made that first choice and that mistake. So since I made that mistake, you were trying to keep the conversation going.
That's all.
The way I saw it is I was sitting here having a conversation with a blatant liar, a man who has gone out of his way to disrespect me, defame my name, my character.
Okay.
And so sitting here with a liar, with an opportunity in the conversation, well, Paul, this shit isn't actually real with you and I.
Ooh.
Jack?
So I wasn't, I'm explaining myself, hopefully, so you can understand.
I assumed that anyway.
Not
That's
to make
exactly
excuses.
that is exactly what I saw and assumed anyway. By your reaction, I assumed Paul was being passive aggressive, and you knew something that I wasn't there to see, but I knew that you was interpreting Paul as being passive aggressive because Paul has an urge to attack you. I assume he was being passive aggressive, talking about something in general that you would bite on. You bit. These are the things I saw in my head develop. I don't have to say them out loud. That's what I saw happening, though, and it appears that's exactly what the fuck occurred.
Jack, how do you feel right now?
I feel like another fucking day. I'm gonna end the day failing again.
No, you didn't fail. You didn't fail.
No,
so don't have that thought. So, Jack, everything was great. Everything was in a good. Everything was in a good place.
Well,
and then someone came and pushed some
finish,
buttons.
I could have clarified that was only part of my thought.
Let's hear his goal first. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. You're right. I'm not ignorant to the good. Please, I'm not like Paul and all these other clowns.
What did you fail in? What did you fail? What goal did you fail in?
My goal every day is to resolve one conflict, resolve any one human being on this planet.
Yeah.
There's many who have conflicts and disagreements with me, unresolved pasts.
Yeah.
So today,
so you feel like you fail every day?
Yes.
Oh my God, you expect too much of yourself.
Well, no, Joe. These are reasonable goals.
No, they're
I'm
not.
honest with myself. When I fail, I fail. I don't judge myself.
No. These are insane goals. These are insane goals. Listen, progress, not perfection. Right? You can't control the outcome. You put in the work. That's all you're responsible for.
Hey,
you went to work today.
Amen.
All right.
Amen. But every day, Joe, I can have hopes. Okay. Saturday, I mentioned this the other day. I've got very few people here in town who give me any time or attention, including the churches and the congregations and all this shit. So one of the guys who I was hoping would be there, he's told me he'd be there for me. Saturday was a union meeting. I was hoping to go resolve some of the conflicts and disagreements with the people who misrepresented me and allowed my career to end. But I didn't find a witness. Now, that guy, George, was supposed to be back in town after spending time with him and his family. He told me he'd get a hold of me today, Monday, after he got back, because I told him, well, George, he's invited me to go hang out at the fair next week, and while I appreciate the invitation to go be entertained with the folks at the fair, my goals are to try and change my life. So every day I know my life can change if anyone allows me to be me and finds a reason to join me. So Joe, I know you're shaking your head, but this is an exaggeration, I know, because I'm overlooking the obvious support and fellowship from the panel.
No. I was gonna say, you know, I am about saying I can only do this if, you know, if someone else joins me.
Oh no,
I feel
no,
like you've given up
you're
your
right.
power
You're right.
in that statement.
In the directions of my goals, I've accomplished everything I can think of on my own. So, and in the direction of my goals include helping others. I can't help anyone who doesn't want me in their life.
Well,
Paul's a perfect example.
If that's the metric, though, whether you fail or succeed, which I was hoping it was, if that's the metric, it was good, Flo, of whether you fail or succeed, you certainly don't fail every day, right? You don't think you
no, please, maybe I spoke sloppily.
Okay.
God's plan is the only thing I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to figure it out. What is God's plan for me? What does God want me to do?
Wouldn't he tell you if he did? If you're supposed to know, don't you think that we would all be have this knowledge installed in us?
No, because most people don't bother to ask. So for those who ask, there are people who report they hear voices from God, from guidance, from angels. There are those who say they receive signs and audible. I do not. Now, what I know,
those are the rare people. Those are the rare people.
Yeah.
Though.
And we don't know who they're talking to, really.
Sure. But back to me. I'm trying to find my way for the path that God wants me to follow. Now, what I know for a fact is God is that which reveals the truth. The truth is often delivered by other people.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I've been trying to have specific conversations and share truth. For whatever reason, people have not accepted the truth of me. And I'm literally I've been asking people, please, can you spend some time, look at my situation with me and help me figure out what I should do? What is the best step? Everyone's fucking advice comes freely.
Yeah.
People don't even know me telling me what to do.
Yeah.
But since
that's
I've
what
been
you're asking
unable
for, right?
That's what what's for?
In a way, isn't that what you're asking for?
Someone who understands. Not someone who's ignorant, who just heard of what I'm saying to tell me what to do.
That reeks, bro. No, that reeks, Jack. Oh, I'm gonna shut up. That's how I get kicked out on muting.
I can't believe you're still here.
Actually, I can't believe I am. I was gonna wrap up, but these, God bless, these are good conversations.
I just got here, man.
I know you did.
Jack, you didn't make a mistake bringing Paul up. You have the good intention. So just because it didn't go the way that you had hoped it to go, it doesn't mean that it was a mistake.
Fair enough. Thank you. I accept that.
That was dope.
Because
I think and I don't want to make it about Paul, but I think that I would differ. I would say that Jack does make mistakes in offering people broadly, not specifically Paul, but just in general, way more opportunities than they deserve. Because once they've demonstrated malice, there needs to be some new demonstration of benevolence before that status quo should be reversed.
But for him to have that kindness in his heart and the belief that maybe this time it's going to be different, and then he's got to deal with it, that whatever the repercussions are from it. But it's still not a mistake, because it's not a bad thing to have faith in people, in the goodness, and maybe today's the day.
I think it's naive.
The way I was about to say, most is 1,000% right. You can't give up. Right? You never know when the day.
What, on other people?
And whatever Jack's trying to accomplish. If he wants to get Paul, can't give up on his goal. And you're right. You never know when the day he's going to come up with that little nugget that affects him in a little way. All those things are true, but it don't change the fact that we see what's going on, and it would. it doesn't come off as he's this patient guy that's just going to give him a bunch of chances. It comes off as it looks a bad look. Flo said the right word with a second ago. It's a bad look. Naive. It comes off as naive. Yeah,
I understand that. And well, my faith is often mistaken as foolish or to be ridiculed.
Right.
You know, I'm stupid for believing.
I think you're smarter than you let on, pimp.
You are smart. He is smarter than he lets on.
Yes, he said he just keep quiet. That's a sign of intelligence.
This is the life I'm living. I'm trying to figure out what is true, just like everyone else. Okay. I believe, from my unique perspective of my life, I believe I have been blessed by how I feel, by the mental, spiritual transformation I've experienced for myself. But I'm unproven, right? Still 0 people as have worked with me. I have 0 success with others. But
and you'd put the blame on you, right? Please tell me that you're saying it's something you do wrong and it's not other people.
Absolutely. I have failed to create the trust in
Very
anyone.
good. That type of shit. Yes.
For
That's
them
what
to
it would be.
believe that
I'm not the smartest nigga in the world, but I would believe that you must start their trust, soft place to land so they can express themselves without being criticized or ridiculed, blah, blah, blah. I think it starts there. Yeah.
But it's also hard to hear that, Jack, because you got a bunch of people right here that are working with you. You got Flo that's coming up and working with you. Here, Joe's coming up. We're trying to work with you because we see the significance in you and what you're doing.
Thank you.
Hey, can I say this? I'm sorry. 2 seconds. I'm sorry. I'm just here for Jack. I think this is exceptional. Conversations like this usually don't last. When he does the thing where he gets up here and just yells at Paul and Tommy and shit, that's one thing that's entertainment for me. But I prefer this. And you guys, it's a cast of characters. I just want to say, I come here because these type of conversations right here, I'm a bit of an addict for. Jack, thank you for playing your role, but I love this shit, and all of you guys benefit me. Jack, thank you, but I get so much benefit over here. It's dumb. Most of these things get disrupted before you get this far in depth in the conversation and flow. Fuck it, while I'm in the mood, if he's still up here, that shit you pulled off in your room, what me and Dude talked about, the race and all of that shit, and you let it play out. Hats off to you, bro. That was dope.
Hey, thanks for being a good sport about those things. Not everybody is.
Right on. It could have went weird. Yeah.
I do think it was fun. I was just gonna say, I think it's funny that you were the most volatile black person on the panel, and where do you go? And Joe is normally the coolest motherfucker. It's in his name, but last night he was the headed one of the, and it was just interesting that scene.
If I'm being honest, Flo, I've been looking for that guy, and I didn't see him pop up. And I told my girlfriend this, and I just happened to see him there, and immediately my heart raced. That predator shit jumped out, girl, and I had to calm myself down. I had shit set up because the last time he saw me, I didn't even know the cat is. And he hopped up on panel. How come black people don't get jobs and stop smoking reefer and shit like that? And hopped off panel. I was like, whoever this dude is, I'm gonna get him. And that was the first opportunity. So I probably was a little different energy then.
I wasn't like poo-pooing you or criticizing.
I get it
out of it.
All right. Normally I'm a little more reserved and shit, man. But I was up for that one, bro. Yeah, you're right. If you saw that shit, yes, I was interested. I'm so glad you let it run.
Talk to us, Jack. Praise God.
Sorry.
Well, so a little bit ago, Jesse corrected me that you guys are here to support me. What you were correcting in the words that I was saying, I've had 0 people working with me in the field of allowing me to be an instructor, a mentor, or a coach.
Yeah.
That is a fact. I'm not dismissing. I see the support people are sharing to help this grow.
Here you have number 1. Do what you got to do. Let's figure out a plan, a schedule. I'll work with you, man.
Absolutely. Life coach. Now, listen, don't get mad. But if this plan of helping you turn a life coach, if in any way turns into I can't become a life coach unless someone helps me with my family, then I'm out. But
Joe,
if this
that's a
is
bullshit. Hey, don't even waste time with that. That's kind of offensive.
That's okay. I guess I know.
Okay.
Okay.
I
You want to
messy.
say stupid so bad. Thank you for pulling back and all of that shit. Yeah.
Well, I judge myself not on the results. I judge myself on my effort. Every day I put forth efforts, but I have to accept the fact.
Yes.
I've been failing. You know, wars are still continuing. I haven't risen to any place. I've not made any movement as far as growing the brand, developing the websites, doing any marketing. I've not grown in those ways.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, God has allowed me the opportunity to learn. And if I'm right, if I'm right, all I'm teaching is my firsthand experience of what Jesus was teaching, faith in God. And that's the type of leadership we can all inspire and emulate for ourselves, is the leadership of the Christ, the faith in greater, the faith in service to others, in making a better world. I really do. That is when I start serious, and it doesn't have to be this. No one else has to get in their head the idea to end wars, right? That's my idea. But if you want to toss some help, open a door or two, please, welcome to join. But find your way, your path. What is it your heart wants you to be doing? Because the only one who can deny us from doing what our heart desires is our own mind.
Oh, what does stop you from doing any fucking thing as you would appear? I mean, that's all you can fucking control. I will grant.
That's okay. That's better. Y'all were starting to talk crazy for a second. Sometimes I feel like I got to bring us back to earth. You can do anything you want. Anything you can imagine, you can do it. No.
If you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct.
100%.
I mean, I can think that I'm a fish, but if I try to live underwater, I'm going to die. You know, like
you can find a way to live as you in the way that you believe you can. And I mean,
become a trans fish.
If we lie to ourselves, yeah, we live in these fantasies, these delusions, these fairy tales, believing in the American dream. Ooh, my vote's gonna bring a better world. Bunch of bullshit. We know this world is not real, but what about us? What can we achieve?
Oh, well, yes.
What if we believe in the vote?
Then you can even make that shit work if you had to. I wanted to end to that. What I was saying was that we can only control ourselves, but even in there, we can make differences in places, and they're usually small differences. Don't ever overestimate your abilities and all of that bullshit. You just barely get to push the rudder a little bit. You're steering nothing. You're under the water, pushing it with your hands. That's the movement that you should expect to get if you're fortunate, right? And in that sense, yeah.
Let me build when you're done, Joe.
Go ahead. I'm done. Yeah.
And we can't expect to know how the differences that we made either, especially when we interact so much on something like this. Yeah. Like 100% have no doubt that the impacts that we've had are there's probably more impact that we don't know about than ones that we do know about.
I see I do put out a lot of videos, and I see a lot of people, cops, they give me your idea. What crime did I commit? What is your RAS? And they talk like we talk, me and my friends. And I dare to think that one of them saw my vid and they learned that from my shit. And, I made a difference. Hey, man, if one of them cats on them videos saw my shit and learned right and it helped him in some fucking way, I'm good with that, man. I'm fucking thrilled, man. I don't know. at 100,000 subscribers now. Humble brag, as you say. At 100,000, man. I don't know what the fuck these niggas watch my shit and they get courageous or get out of a ticket. I never know.
I think what you said is true. We don't necessarily know how much we influence, and we often don't know the immediate results, but I've been blessed to receive a couple of experiences. Someone from my distant past came up and reminded me of something I thought was insignificant
Very good,
when we were
very
kids.
good.
And she's like, "Oh my God, you're my hero."
Very good. God is good.
And that's the truth. We don't know how much we influence each other.
And Jack, you are the guiltiest of that. You get down on yourself. And I get mad, and you're the only person here for me to take it out on, and I take it out on you when I should be taking it out because I know in my head I be thinking all these people keep him from being his great self, blah, blah, blah. All of that shit keeps him distracted from doing that shit. And when I see that shit go into your head, I'm a loser, or yes, I know I'm a failure and I haven't achieved. You talk like that, I want to hit you, bro. Oh God, I want to fucking
if this were in person, me and Joe would be beating the shit out of you every time that person came out of your mouth.
Right. You're not allowed to.
Thank you,
underestimate, man. Listen, my girl knows who the fuck you are, right? She knows nuggets of wisdom that come from this room, right? I'm talking like we don't know what come up. You don't know what conversation we had here that I'm sharing with my fucking friends. And who told you that? Where'd you get it from? Whether I say it or not. But I'm referring to you niggas all the way. She know who flow state. She know what a flow state is now, right? I didn't know what a fucking flow state was.
She knew beforehand. She just didn't tell you.
You say you knew beforehand. You just didn't tell me.
I got out.
All right.
See, I know it is because of care. But here, what about this? What if my experience and the way I'm describing this is also a lesson for you guys? Failure isn't just, don't judge.
That's the way God works, bro.
Man,
That's so smart. We think it's the lesson was Jack's today. That's insane. God's a brilliant fuck. We all got a million lessons and shit that happened today. That's crazy.
I was just waiting for somebody to breathe so I could say that damn thing. We don't know. Or sometimes the lesson that we try to teach and the lesson that we're actually supposed to teach are different things entirely. Sometimes you teaching lessons that you don't want to teach, like how not to be a douchebag.
Yeah, and I don't know if you cats do this, but I'm so accustomed. I train myself that whatever advice I'm giving another motherfucker, I must immediately turn on myself. I've gotten so good at that as my sentence is dying. I'm applying it to myself and asking, "Are you guilty of the same thing?" Blah 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 blah.
That's a good one because a lot of people have good advice for others, but are they applying it to themselves?
Right. It's usually you guys are just a mirror to teach me. You niggas might not even exist in real life. This is a simulation. This is Joe's
when you leave
world.
here, we stop. That's
That's why you guys are characters in a fucking video game. And thank you, motherfuckers, for the lessons that you and thank you for your patience and all of that shit. See you on the other side, nigga.
I have this theory based on the fractal universe and the fractal consciousness that our lives are so unique and so perfectly designed for our own path that the truth of reality is uniquely revealed to each of us. And so anyone who comes into my life, that's where my mind is at now.
I get your unique reality. I get a brush of your unique reality just by brushing up against you. Right, all of us have our unique realities, and we need to come into contact because I can't spend 100,000 hours being Jack and learn his experiences. So I need to bump into him in life on a panel and get what I can get off of that dude while I have the opportunity.
Dude, that is it. To be a human, to be a real, fully developed person, self-sustainable and able to solve problems, you got to learn a lot of shit. And one lifetime is not enough to learn what one person needs to know.
So you might be a good musician or a good artist or something, but you can't do it all.
We got to learn from each other. And that's what I think is so cool is that we can.
Tell me the love of you crafting a masterpiece, right? You, Jack, whatever your masterpiece. I couldn't be there, but if you're willing to share, you can explain to me, Joe, how I felt when I got those new colors. I had 4 colors when I was a kid. I was broke as fuck, in the cold with an outhouse. I got hazel. I got cinnamon. Oh my God, you know how difficult it was to get that color, and I could see through your eyes what it means. And I'm an artist for a minute, and then I can. The next person I meet, I have an idea of what an artist goes through. Just a tad an idea. I can't do the 100,000 thing, but I'm a little more informed. I'm a little better. I'm a little more enlightened, a little less ignorant.
I think it's 10,000.
It's 10,000 hours to perfect the thing, but I was giving him years as opposed to just the 10,000.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get Neuralink, it'll be like instant. So
supposedly,
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong there?
Right. The other part of this, though, of giving advice, we are either honest reflections to each other of what we see and what is shown, or we project. We take what is within us and from our veil, and we throw these
probably a bit of both.
Mirror me, mirror you.
Yeah,
I had this happen on more than one occasion, and maybe look at yourselves, where I found myself offering advice to someone, which was exactly what I needed.
Happens every day, bro.
It's what you were saying. It's clear that we've got to pay attention to what we say.
Yes,
right.
I'm sorry. I'm at the point where I don't even think I'm talking to real people anymore. The advice I give for your situation, it was meant for me. What are you even here for? You were here to teach me that lesson, apparently, because I'm slow.
There to bring a situation for you to see from a different perspective, so that you could see what you needed to do,
what I didn't see, blah blah, and these are your best teachers. And it sucks, but sometimes, like in you guys' instance, the Pauls are the best teachers in life. You overcome that, you're a superstar. You learn how to deal with that.
Man, you got to be careful with how you phrase things.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. What happened? What did I say?
You're gonna see your words on a billboard or something.
I know what I said.
Joe Cool says that Paul is the best teacher ever.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he's gonna take so much mileage out of that one, especially now that I pointed it out.
Yeah. Well,
you guys are awesome.
Those challenging people, right? As they say, it's real easy to love those who love us. It's really easy to love those who benefit us. But those who bring us insults and challenges, that's the test. That's the best teacher. Margot and Paul and Wizard have been excellent teachers for me to show me how I do not want to behave.
It probably looks like on the other side, they're in on the gag. Perhaps all of our subconscious or whatever. On the other side, you get to hug that person, smile. You carry no baggage.
You guys are going into the woo-woo cupcake way too far. I mean, go there if you want, but just know to the audience, like, I'm sitting here, but I'm not participating.
Yes. I think these are the difficult things, man. When they say the way of the chosen will be narrow, I think it's those who have the courage to be different, do different, say different. For instance, if your numbers are dropping in a room and on YouTube's any room I hang in, you're probably doing something right and getting closer to God, because the path of motherfuckers who love nonsense is endless, and the path of people who actually give a fuck about correcting themselves, right, or forgiving someone else, that's not a thing. No one wants to hear that shit. I don't need a conscious Joe. I'm here for entertainment. Take that shit somewhere else.
Joe, you're
I was saying bye to that person. I was waving, but I'm not leaving. It was saying bye to nerd.
Beautiful. I do feel like we should wrap it up, though, even though we've been having great conversations, and
it's been great. I got plenty of work to do.
Amen. I got some things I got to take care of as well. Joe, thank you, brother. I'm going to toss you and hope to see you again soon. Flo, Jesse?
Well, it was a successful day, Jack. You know,
Did I
it's
hear a sex
your
in there?
no successful.
Oh, I thought I heard sex in there. I didn't know if it was a
No,
sex
not for
guy.
me. My girlfriend's in a different city right now, but
Where at?
Jack, successful in the fact that, you know, your buttons got a little pushed, your energy got a little heightened, but you brought it back and then came to nice and chill, Jack. And, you know, so this conversation was beautiful. Thanks, Flo. You make me laugh. You got a good sense of humor. Very, very smart, intelligent. You know, you're a good man. I'm gonna start High Vibe Love Tribe right now, so gonna be dancing. I usually do cardio for an
What is
hour and
High
20.
Vibe Love Tribe? I don't know what that is, but I saw you just like go into rave mode last night right before you dipped out. And
So it starts in 2 minutes. So I'll have to make it quick.
okay,
At the beginning of the lockdowns, when they wanted everybody to be afraid, we decided to meditate, pray for the Earth Day, and then a whole bunch of people showed up, and we formed a nice, safe, sacred space for everybody to come hang out. So I turn on some music, dance. At the beginning, it started about 15 minutes of dancing, and then ended up an hour, sometimes more. Last night, it was an
is it
hour
on
and 40.
YouTube or is it like in person?
Well, it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Rumble. We did Rumble for the first time last night. It was like 70, 80 people on Rumble just on that one app. So it was first time. So just we put the music on, we danced 20 minutes of its weights, where I put in 10 pounds in each hand. So when I do 60 of these with 20 pounds behind, it's 1,200 pounds. And like I do it as fast as I can do the beat, right? Just getting some exercise. So it's entertaining for people, but we decided we wanted to raise the vibration. I've been teaching people about the nefarious, what's been going on in the world for 30 plus years. So when they wanted everyone afraid, we pivoted and then just raised the vibration. I just stopped sharing stuff like that. Just wanted to have a high vibration so we didn't have to be afraid collectively and have a safe, sacred space. And I just, you know, kept it as sacred as possible. We're starting in 1 minute. So just going to do that right now.
Later.
Going to dance. Love you guys. Love everyone. And we'll see you at the High Vibe Love Tribe if you like that or want to check it out.
Peace. Thank you, Jesse. God bless, brother. Flo,
how was the show? I guess I missed an eventful show with ups and downs and shit.
Actually, I was I don't know how it came across, but I'm not disappointed in myself. I don't feel like I got too reactionary, but we had I felt pretty good conversations talking about sacrifice, learning, exchange of attention and time. And then we covered a whole bunch of other topics.
Right on.
And then, but yeah, we had Tommy was here.
I heard that before I got in the shower. I worked late and I listened to it a little bit before I got home and got straight in the shower. But I listened to Tommy a little bit before then, and it was amazing. He was doing so good, and then it got too much.
Yeah, and
I think Truth or Cop pushed him over the edge. Is that what happened?
You know, there could have been some instigation from the chat. That's very true. I bet that is. You know what? I hope Tommy doesn't have hard feelings and keeps carrying some resentment, but he was doing pretty good. He was doing pretty good today, and I do like Tommy.
He keeps track of the ways people have offended him like a motherfucker. That list is impeccable. Long after you've forgotten about it.
Yep. All right. Anyway,
somewhere between you two should meet in the middle. Later.
We'll figure it out. Thank you, Flo. God bless. Brothers and sisters, all who joined the panel today, all who tried to join the panel today and may not have made it up. Thank you for your efforts and your attention. All those who joined the chat today, bless you. Sincerely, thank you all. I hope you found some value in the conversations. We kind of strayed away, but we did cover a lot of different areas. I just want to remind, right? The universal laws of exchange, they are real. In order to receive, we must give, right? And this is what I heard one of the coaches explain. If you want to receive, right, Your arms need to be open. The best way to open your arms is to give, right? If you're dealing with lack of money, lack of attention, lack of health, start finding where you can give those things. It sounds contrary to what you want. But if you want something in this life, you got to be prepared to make sacrifices. Be willing to let go of something else in order for new to arrive. And honestly, you know, my experience is what it is, and I'm not complaining. I just try to be honest. I have experienced incredible benefits in the transformation of my own mental state, my emotional state, my physical state. I've had incredible results for myself. I have not had the successes with others. But one thing I've realized is this society, most people are very, very resistant to change. Change is frightening. And I've talked about this before. I used to allow my fears of change to keep me drinking every day. I know how unhealthy it is to fight change. I know how unhealthy it is to stay in denial. Frankly, I know the type of friend I am. And so some of these people that want to keep pushing me away man, they should go get an examination. They don't know what they're missing out on. And some of the critics in the chat, God bless you guys. You guys are so funny. The way you see the world and other people, it's hilarious. But it's no wonder that slavery is continuing. It's no wonder that oppression and censorship and wars are continuing. Because the slaves are confused. The slaves, the generic masses of population. Brothers and sisters, this is our lifetime. Okay? I don't know how old any of you are. I know in my lifetime I've witnessed and seen a lot of change, right? The advancements, the introduction of the computers, the home computers, the introduction of pagers and cell phones, and all of these technologies have advanced and become normal in my lifetime. But also in my lifetime have been mysteries, right? Mysteries of 22 years ago. Mysteries of the generations of war and conflicts. The mysteries of the, you know, agencies like brothers and sisters, this is our lifetime to change the world, and we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Our enemies are the principalities, the rulers in high places. Those are the belief systems. Those are the belief systems, and the corporate and government structures are just examples of the collective belief systems. This belief system of classes, of separation, segregation based on economic value. It's all nonsense, brothers and sisters. But it is our time to live, our life to be, and I choose to be grateful. I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for all who tuned in and joined. And please, for the future, please do the subscribe thing, and if you find value, conversations of peace and philosophical ideas, please share the channel with others. Let them know what we're doing. Till next time, thank you to all. Praise be to God. Seriously. Choose love and live without fear.